And down goes the Ice Golem with the Hog Rider, the combo of the century. Watch this, guys. This tower is disintegrating in the very first attack, just like this. Hog Rider and those archers going together to get that tower all the way down. Look at that. First attack. Boom! There goes that tower. Hey gamers, Game with Melkor here, bringing you another Clash Royale deck spotlight. Now this deck has been working fantastically well in both the Legendary Arena and also in the Challenge Series. So, what I want you to do, guys, is smash that like button. Let's see if we can get 30 likes on this video. So guys, let's have a look at the deck that we've been using. So guys, it's the Hog Rider! That's right guys, the Hog Rider. One of my favourite cards at this moment in time. So the deck consists of none other than the Hog Rider himself. We have the Fireball. We have the two little ladies, the Archers. We have the Ice Golem. We have the Furnace. Now this card is especially good in the Challenge Series because being capped at towers being capped at 9, it means that when they release their little guys, one will always reach the tower if they're not shot by additional troops. A great way of chipping away at those towers. We then have the Mega Minion. We have the Inferno to take on those big bad boys such as the Giants. And we have the Zap Spell. So guys, like I said, this deck has been working fantastically well in both the Legendary Arena and in the Challenge Series. And when I'm talking about Legendary Arena, I'm talking all the way up to 33, 3400 without any issues. Now the average elixir cost comes in at 3.4. So let's have a look at some of the battles and how it's actually being played. So, as you can see here, guys, we have a 2-0 victory, a 2-1 victory, a 2-1 victory, a 2-1 victory, a 3-1 victory. Now, we did have a 1-0 defeat in there against a very good opponent. We just couldn't counter it, I'm afraid. 2-1 victory, 3-1 victory, 2-1 victory, 2-0 victory, a 1-all draw, and a 3-0 victory. And that's how good this deck has been. As you can see, 1 defeat, 1 draw, and what? A dozen or so wins there. That's simply amazing. This deck is so much fun to play. So let's just have a look at some of these replays and see how we play this deck. So guys, not the greatest starting hand because we don't have the Hog Rider in there, but we do have the Ice Golem. And always remember guys, wish your opponent good luck, 'cause at the end of the day, it's always good to have a good sportsmanship. Bit of thumbs up there. So we're going to drop the Furnace down in the back, and as you can see, our opponent drops down his Golem. Because our opponent has dropped that heavy elixir card, we're going to push down the opposite side here with a Hog Rider and that Ice Golem. Now well placed there by that graveyard, so we're going to drop down the Archers here as well. So the Hog Rider Archers are going to start dealing some significant damage to this tower. As soon as our elixir builds up, we are going to drop down that Inferno tower to take out that Golem. Now as you can see, we have got off to a fantastic start, giving us a solid 1-0 lead. Zap that Golem there just to allow us to get a bit less damage, bit more damage onto those troops. And as you can see guys, we're just waiting now to take out this. We're going to drop down the Ice Golem there just to stop that Mega Minion dealing any damage to our tower. So at this point guys, we are about levels for devils when it comes to elixir, yet we are looking in a very strong position because we do have a 1-0 lead. Now, as you can see, our opponent does have that lightning spell, which is a little bit tricky. And as you can see, guys, look at that. Then furnaces, because that furnace, they are getting through to that. Now, as you can see, our opponent has dropped his Golem using all his elixir. So we're going to drop the Hog Rider and the Archers down here to try and take advantage of that. Our opponent obviously does drop that graveyard, but we are able to do some damage to that tower, get it down to 1668. Unfortunately, the Archers didn't have time to lock onto the tower, but did in fact lock onto the Golem. So as you can see, the Inferno does lock onto that Baby Dragon first, which was quite positive for us. We're going to drop down the Mega Minion here to support that. There we go. And then we're going to obviously concentrate on taking out these Archers. So as you can see guys, our tower's down to 18-17, but we're still in a very strong position with just over a minute. Now this deck does tend to excel in overtime as well. Sorry, in the last 60 seconds where you have that double XP. So as you can see, I dropped that Hog Rider behind that Ice Golem. hopefully just allowing it to get off 1 or 2 hits on that tower, taking it down to just over 1000 HP. Let's get down this furnace and let's get down this inferno. There we go. Now, opponent did place that dragon this time behind, so I'm going to drop that mega minion there. We're going to utilise that zap spell to allow us to take it out. Now that opponent is playing very well with that lightning spell. So in goes the ice golem. Now as you can see, when the ice golem explodes, it's going to take out all of those skeletons. The hog rider plus those archers are going to destroy this tower. There we go, giving us a 2-0 lead. And the good thing is, once you've got a 2-0 lead and you have 2 infernuses going down either side, it's just a matter of trying to get as much troops on the ground to get onto that tower. With only 13 seconds left, we know we're not going to take it here, but we may as well try and defend and make sure our opponent doesn't take that tower as well. Do apologise, guys, with that pop-up. That was my fault, forgetting to turn pop-ups off. Silly me. So, guys, a fantastic 2-0 victory there against a Golem deck, all thanks to that Inferno Tower coming to our rescue. So let's have a look at some other battles here. Let's have a look at this 3-1 victory where our opponent was using the elite barbarians combined with the tornado. Problem is, our opponent does only have that level 6 hog rider, giving us a massive advantage. But obviously ours is only level 7 because obviously it is a challenge. So let's watch this one and see how it does. So, not a bad starting hand. Wait to see what our opponent does, and then we could potentially drop the hog rider and the ice golem down. But let's just wait to see what our opponent decides to do. So as we're going to waste, we don't like wasting elixir, we're going to drop that down. As you can see, our opponent drops down those mega minions, so we zap those there we go, and then we drop that ice golem purely just to distract those troops because I don't want to take any initial damage. So a little bit of damage on the tower. Now our opponent does drop down his cannon, so we've got the mega minion and those archers are going to take out that cannon very quickly, and we're going to get a few hits off on this tower, giving us a very small lead at this stage. So we get that tower down to 1352. We're about same for elixir, so we're looking quite good at this point. We're just going to wait for that elixir to build back up, and then we're going to drop down that furnace in the back. As you can see, our opponent has dropped down his hog rider. So we're going to zap these troops here. An absolute waste of a zap, if you ask me. My own fault. We're going to drop down the ice golem for an ice golem hog push. Not really worried too much about our opponent's level 6 hog. I know he's going to deal some damage to that tower, but I was fully expecting that. Now, as you can see, our opponent did place that tornado there, allowing us to not quite get as much damage on that tower as we liked, as quick as we liked, but we're still able to take it down and get the hog rider onto the tower, though just. So we are going to turn our attention to the opposite side of the field here, even though our opponent has dropped that cannon down that. As you can see, we're just going to completely ignore this hog rider apart from dropping a few archers potentially in the middle. But with that furnace taking it out, I'm not too worried. So we're going to drop our archers down here, then we're going to drop down the ice golem as a distraction. So as that hog rider comes up, we are going to then do a few poor placements there. Now as you can see, those archers are going to deal that damage. Our opponent wasted that tornado card there, I'm afraid. We're going to let our elixir build back up, and then we're going to have one last push on this tower. So we're going to drop the hog in the back. We're going to drop the mega minion at front. We're going to then support that with a fireball in case our opponent drops anything. He does that cannon. There we go. Hog rider, mega minion, take out that tower. Our opponent obviously does drop those down. Our opponent is going to try and get this one tower. He rages them up. Very well done. Now, unfortunately, we are going to lose this one tower, but let's be honest, it doesn't matter. We're going to get the solid 3-1 victory there in a very quick game. So guys, let's just have a look for one more battle. So we had that defeat there, another 2-1, another 3-1 victory there. We might have a look at that one. Let's have a decider. Oh, we've got a 3-0 victory here against an opponent which was using the 3 musketeers and the giant. So we'll just watch this one because I always love 3 musketeers with this deck. There's so many troops to distract it. You have the fireball, you have the zap spell and the inferno. Obviously, the opponent can be quite tricky if they decide to hold on to those 3 musketeers, but we will have to wait and see. So opponent drops down the mini P.E.K.K.A, so I'm going to just drop down the inferno here. Poorly placed there by me, didn't distract it at all. I'm going to drop down the hog rider. Our opponent then drops down his level 8 Valkyrie and the freeze spell. So, very well played by our opponent there on defense, doing some serious damage to us. So I'm going to drop down the furnace at the back to try and whittle down this Valkyrie. Our opponent does have the elixir advantage at this point, so I am going to utilise the zap spell there just to slow that Valkyrie down so he only gets one hit off on our tower. So our opponent then decides to drop down his Goblin Hut, an interesting move, not something you see every day. Now we are going to fireball both that Goblin Hut and that tower, just because I don't want those goblins. And as you can see, bad timing for me, our opponent then dropped down the 3 musketeers. So down goes the Inferno, down goes the Golem there after the zap to obviously distract those. There we go. So we do take them down. Now we are going to take a significant amount of damage on this tower. So at this point I'm a bit concerned. So that tower goes down to 306. But we now know that we've got to keep hold of that fireball to take on those musketeers. So we're going to drop down the furnace here in the back, and at this point I think this is the one where our opponent actually lagged out. Oh yes, I apologise guys, this wasn't the replay I was looking for. Our opponent actually lagged out at this point, and obviously we did go on to obviously win the battle. I absolutely apologise for that one. There's no point in watching that one because obviously we did go on to obviously win that one. My apologies. We will watch this 2-0 victory here against an opponent using a level 4 skeleton giant, mixing in well with a goblin barrel and the legendary princess. So we're just going to watch this one, guys. Apologies for the last battle, that was my fault, getting the wrong one mixed up. There we go. Okay, so as you can see, our opponent just dropping that goblin barrel and that princess. Now they're going to start hitting away the damage on this tower, so I'm going to drop down the Mega Minion and then the Hog Rider to put a little bit of pressure on. Our opponent obviously drops down that there. There's a distraction, but luckily the Hog Rider is able to do some significant damage to that tower before he goes down. Get it down to just over 1000 HP. So at this point we are still looking quite good. We do have a very slight lead in this, but we do have elixir advantage as well. So down goes the Ice Golem in the back, and as you can see, our opponent then drops that down there. So I'm going to drop down the archers in the middle here. There we go. I had the zap spell on standby, but I was a bit too late with it. Now as you can see, that is going to go down before it's anywhere near our tower. Our opponent then does drop down the Inferno Dragon, which takes out that Ice Golem, but that does allow us to get 1, 2, 3 hits on that tower with that Golem, with that Hog Rider. So we drop down our Inferno Tower to take out that Inferno Dragon, and then we're going to drop down our, we're not going to worry about that princess because we know it's going to go down with those fire spirits. So we're going to drop down the, excuse me, throat. There we go. So there we go. So we managed to get that tower down to 222. Obviously the Ice Golem and the taking it out. So guys, as you can see now, it's just a matter of building up a defense to stop this Inferno Dragon. And as you can see, we're going to have the zap spell on standby to take out those golems, just like that. So the Ice Golem Hog Rider are going to go for another push down this left-hand side. Our opponent does decide to zap our fire spirits for some strange reason. I'm just going to drop down the archers because I know they're going to get in quickly on that tower. Unfortunately, our opponent then does decide to drop down his baby dragon. Luckily, our Ice Golem and Hog Rider are going to start to do some damage to that second tower. At this point, we know we're just one fireball away from taking out that first tower. So we drop the furnace on the second one. There we go, and then we keep the zap spell ready there just to take those out. So at this point, we're looking at another strong position. We're going to wait for that baby dragon to move, and then we're going to drop that mini P.E.K.K.A. That Mega Minion and that Hog Rider to try and take that out. So the Hog Rider gets 1 swing, 2 swing, 3 swings on that tower, leaving it 177 HP, knowing that we're going to be able to get that tower down here. There we go, 1, 2, 2-0 lead, 10 seconds left on the clock. Our opponent's not going to be able to counter it. We're not going to be able to get the 3 crowns, but we are going to get a solid 2-0. Wish our opponent good luck for the future. There we go, guys, a solid 2-0 victory. And that's how effective this deck actually is. Like I said, it can destroy most decks. It's great at countering so many different types of decks and works well in both the Legendary Arena and in the Challenge Series as well. So, So guys, obviously like I said, we just had a new fan member join there, King Nick, who I believe came from this YouTube channel. So welcome King Nick to the clan. So guys, let's have a look at that deck again. It's the Hog Rider, the Ice Golem, we have the Fireball, those archers, the Furnace, the Mega Minion, the Inferno Tower, and the Zap Spell. So guys, if you like what you see, comment below, let me know. If you've not subscribed already guys, do me a massive favour and smash that subscribe button, and I'll see you gamers next time. Take care.